What's up, guys? It's Matty Fleisch, and we are back with a new video about something that I have not ever talked about before. I don't do a lot of talking on this channel at all, but I figured I kind of want to put together this one because it's kind of cool. Basically, I've been able to use my FPV drone skills to make money, and I think anybody can do this. And I want to show you guys a bunch of different ways to do it. And then I want to show you a very specific way that I have found to be very successful. And it involves not just FPV drones. So you got to be a little open-minded in how we're going to approach this, because the FPV drone is first and foremost a tool. And that means that every tool has a purpose. And that means that it doesn't always have to be that tool that we're using in order to make things work. But I'm going to show you guys a really good breakdown of everything. A lot of these things that I'm going to talk about, it's free as long as you've got the gear. And we're going to kind of just dive right in. So if that sounds good, please stick around. Let's get going. The reason why I wanted to put this together right now, today, is because we're in October 2024, and there has been so much talk of a recession. We might be in one. There's one coming. There's a housing bubble. The stocks are going to crash. We might end up in World War III. The world is very topsy-turvy right now, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. Bottom line is the economic outlook of the United States, of the European Union, and the rest of the world is negative. Things are starting to turn against us. People are running out of money to buy stuff. Inflation has taken a lot of the extra money that people had laying around. Homes are really expensive. Cars are still really expensive. Prices have not come down. And we're in this weird time where it feels like, personally to me, it feels like things are about to get a lot worse. And I like to plan ahead, and I like to take charge before bad things happen. So that's part of why I'm putting this together. So it seems like we're up for a recession soon. And I think my belief, and I'm sure the data would support this, is that when you are a business owner, if you own, let's say, a cleaners or a local tree service or a computer repair shop, anything, you have to have people coming in the door so that you can make money, so that you can pay your bills, so you can keep the business open. When you're not in a recession, when times are great, you might not have to do much. People might just show up and buy things, and it's not a big deal. But when a recession hits and times are harder, those businesses have a choice. Do they either keep going the way that they're going, not advertising, not doing anything at all? Or do they have to advertise because they have to get people in the door, because they have to make money so that they can pay their bills, so they can keep the doors open and keep their employees employed? That's what we're talking about here. So let's talk a little bit about how you can turn drones, FPV, into a business, into a semi-business. I'm going to do a lot of this video. So how can you make money with your hobby? I've got a list here. Let's go through it. FPV drone racing. This is kind of out of touch for most people. I'm just putting it here because it's an honorable mention. But if you're a really skilled pilot, if you practice, you fly 50 packs a day, you fly in the sim a lot, you can end up in something like the DRL Racing League, and you can make a lot of money with sponsorships and products with your name on it, stuff like that. Honorable mention. I know it's not for everybody. Freestyle flying and content creation. This is kind of what I do. I'll put out a video once every 2 weeks, once a week, stuff like that. Pretty casual about it. But you can put together a channel that actually generates revenue from ad dollars if you get monetized. More on that later. If you want to know more about paid per click advertising, we're going to talk about that. You can make money with affiliate marketing. So that means putting links in the description, pointing people to products that earn you money. You can sell stock footage, things to like, you can sell footage to like Shutterfly, Getty Images, stuff like that. I don't think they pay a lot of money, so it's not my favorite. You could do sponsored content, which is like, if you know the right people, maybe you can get in the door. Not my favorite. YouTube, yes. The rest of it, not the best. Aerial cinematography. This one seems to be like the favorite, and that is definitely where the money is made. If you want to make like big chunks of money really quickly, or semi-quickly, aerial cinematography could definitely be the route. My only problem with this is it can be tricky to get in the industry if you don't know anybody. You have to know the right people. You have to be willing to travel. You have to have a lot of equipment and money and capital to get into the business. Unless, of course, you're just hired as a pilot, which is pretty sweet if you could do that. But there's film, TV shows, stuff like that, music videos, and extreme sports filming that you can get into. Again, this is kind of like out there for some people. Not everybody's near a sports complex of some kind where they do sports. Not everybody has a film industry nearby. Most people don't. And music videos, I'd probably say, is one of the more common options, but they can pay no money, they could pay little money, they could pay a lot of money. Totally depends on the project, but you can usually find people doing this on like Facebook and Craigslist and stuff like that. Constantly seeing people asking for pilots on there with varying degrees of success and money that's involved with that. So it's an option. Then we have event filming and live streaming. And this is where it gets a little more interesting to me, because people are always getting married. There's always going to be a special event, recession or not. And since this topic is kind of turning your hobby into a business, but we're also talking about the recession, I like this one a lot, because weddings, if you've ever gotten married, you know, weddings cost so much freaking money. It's unbelievable how much money they can charge. All you have to do is say it's for a wedding, and the price like quadruples. Anyway, people want fly-throughs of the parties. They want fly-throughs, overheads of the outdoor parties if they're doing it outdoors. A lot of these drone projects, they seem to mostly be attached to photographers, as in the photographer is the one that brings the job, and then they will sub out to a drone operator the money. Not always the case. It totally depends on what the project is, of course. But you can make a lot of money very quickly with a wedding, bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, stuff like that. There might be a local community event like a farmer's market or outdoor, like a free concert, stuff like that. Always get permission. Do not just go and fly. It's like the worst thing you could do is just show up with your drone and start flying. People hate when they do that. And you could be arrested. It's not worth it. But you can make really good money just by showing up to these community events, getting to know the right people, talking to them, and seeing if they need a pilot, somebody to help them promote their event, whatever that may be. You can also do racetrack live streaming. That's kind of like a newer thing that I've become aware of. I knew that they were doing live streaming, but I had a friend that was doing it a couple weeks ago, actually. He was able to step in and take over during like a rainstorm, and it was like super drenched, the worst conditions you can imagine, but he was there, he was able to make it happen for them, and he's really going to be rewarded very well for his efforts. Also want to talk about real estate and property marketing. This is where I'm going with the whole video, actually, because I want to talk about like local businesses and how you can help a local business. When you start talking about like real estate and property marketing, these guys need to sell homes whether there's a recession or not. Right now, interest rates are really high. They've actually gone up recently. And when they sit on a property for a long time, the homeowner can't move, or they're losing money on the property that they're not living in. They really need these things to move. You can offer an opportunity for people to see the property in a different way and you can probably help them get that traffic in the door that may lead to a sale. You could do flyovers for a realtor. You can do a fly through of a property. You could show them, you could highlight like the backyard, the pool, the whole property so that you could see like where the road is and where the hill is and where the forest is in relation to it. Useful data that people are willing to pay money for. Now let's actually talk about how that works, because I know I just glazed over that real casual like. Well, social media happens to be our specialty. If you post, if that's what you do. There's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. You can even post to LinkedIn, stuff like that, Facebook, MySpace. But these businesses, they need to keep people coming in. And if you have a drone service where you're saying, you go to a business and you say, okay, Mr. Tree Service, you need to sell more removal services. You need to get rid of trees. You need to trim them. You need to get rid of them. How can I help you? Well, if you wanted to offer them a drone service, and assuming you have the authorization from the FAA, you go through the Part 107, you do everything by the book, you could put a drone up, you can circle the tree, you can show the tree before with the mess down below. Maybe there was a storm. I know there's just a bunch of hurricane damage, Florida and North Carolina. And then you can show the after, where everything's cleaned up and everything looks good and pretty. And you could show them what a good job they did. And you came to them and you said, okay, I'm going to put together 50 different versions of that. I'm going to do 50 reels. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put captions on them. And I'll make TikToks out of them. The same content. Then I'm going to change it a little bit more and we'll put it on your Facebook page too. All of a sudden, that 50 pieces of content, those reels, turn into 150 pieces of content. Now let's say you went to them and you said, okay, I'm going to charge you $500 to do that. I want to show you why this matters. I'm going to pull up the Google Keyword Planner. And this is what people use when they do advertising. This is what they use when they do Google ads. This is both for YouTube ads, stuff like that. When you're the advertiser and you're paying for these things. If you look up, let's do tree removal. This is on a per click basis, how much they would pay for an ad. So that means you go to Google and you type in tree removal. How much are they paying for the ad right now if you were to click on the ad? So nobody's paying for an ad right now. In my area, it's always going to be different. We have these sponsored ads up here. We can count that. Tree removal. By the way, this tool is completely free. Just search Google Keyword Planner and it'll come right up. They're paying between $3 a click and $16 a click. $16 a click. If you're in the world of marketing, which I know most of you aren't, from what I've seen, just in what I'm doing, I can almost guarantee a 1% conversion on something. And I think most businesses would attest to this as well. So let's say you're the tree business and you charge, they probably charge between $6,000 and $10,000 to remove a tree. Big money, okay? $10,000 to remove a tree. Let's say they have to pay out between $2,000 and $4,000 to actually do the work. Okay, so they're making $6,000. All right, how many people do they have to go through that are interested before they get that customer? On average, it seems to be about 1%. So that means out of 100 people, one person's going to call with a serious consideration that they want your services, and they're hopefully going to go through with it. Let's look here. We got $16.39 that they're paying. Out of 100 people, times $16.39, they're paying $1,600 to run that ad to get one person in the door to get the tree service. What if you came in and you offered your 50 pieces of content for $500 or anything less than $16.39. What businesses need to understand, and I think most of them do, and most people do, is that this is evergreen content. Yes, Instagram, you swipe and you might not ever see it again. But there are reels out there that get views for years. Years and years and years. There are YouTube videos that get views for years and years and years. And I'll show you that right now, actually. Slightly different topic, but how to tie a tie. Shows right up in Google. And let's check the views. Let's see how many views they've gotten over how many years. 61 million views over 12 years. 60. What is that? 60,000, 600,000, 6 million, 60 million? Did I do that backwards? I think I did that math backwards. Let's see here. It's like 5 million views a year. Okay, 5 million views a year. You're getting about 416,000 views a month on this video alone. That's what I mean by evergreen content. And that's what I mean by helping a local business. Because they could pay that $1,600 on an ad. They could get that person in the door. And then they can say, okay, I'm going to turn the ad off. And that traffic just turns right off. As soon as they stop paying Google, nobody else comes through the door. But what if you made 50 pieces of content like this, and you helped a business using your drone, and you created something that's evergreen, something like how to tie a tie, how to remove a tree. They're getting close to 500,000 searches a month, views. If they're smart enough to link this back to their business page, that's free traffic in the door. And that's cheaper than what they would have paid in the ads. Because if you did the $1,600 a month, right? We're talking about, what did I say, $16.39 a month? $16.39, close to 50,000. Now this is a localized search, so people are not necessarily searching this across the board, but let's just do it anyway. Per month. So we're looking at 600,000 searches a year for tree removal. So now we take the 594 times, we could even do the 318. It's like, whoops. Safe to say, you can't get all that traffic. You can't get all that traffic for free. You wouldn't be able to. Unless you're churning out millions of dollars in business and you can pay for it. Point being, you can do a really good little business for people just by doing this. I want you to think in terms of YouTube tutorials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and other content that you create with it. You can use your drone as a tool when it's necessary. You also likely own a cell phone. You can use your phone and you can do walkthroughs of the business. You can get a DJI Osmo. It's a little gimbal mounted thing. You could put a GoPro on it. You could put your phone on it. You don't even have to use the DJI one. You could just get a selfie stick. That's probably better. Just walk around with a selfie stick and you can do this for people. You can help them create content. You could do virtual business tours. We already talked about this. Yoga studios, gyms, realtors, lawyers, accountants, adventure parks, sports centers. This is where you can do drone stuff. We went to a zip line place upstate a couple years ago. Huge facility, awesome place, destination type place. They need people in the door. They need advertising because they're literally in the middle of nowhere. If I went to them, seeing if they wanted some drone work, I can pretty much guarantee that they would want that work done. They could put it on their website, they could put it on their YouTube, Instagram, and they can reuse that content and they can re-edit it as many times as they like to promote themselves. over and over and over again. Paid me once, and they get unlimited use of the footage. We already talked about recession-proof businesses, HVAC, plumbers, electricians, electrical work, auto shops. You can fly through an auto shop. Hardware stores, again, doesn't mean you have to use FPV for it. I'm just trying to open your mind that if you're trying to make some side money, you're trying to turn your hobby into a business, it's not always going to be drones necessarily. It can be. I'm showing the other side of it. You can live stream events. I had a buddy. He shot a race event. He was at a drift event. It was pouring rain. It was miserable. He showed up last minute. They needed somebody to do it. He did it. He's going to be rewarded handsomely for it, I'm sure. These are live events that they're trying to sell tickets for. They need to promote the upcoming event. They can use it for training purposes. They can use it for Reels, YouTube, you name it. All this stuff is worth a lot of money to them because they don't have to pay advertising. You can also shoot ads for them. If they're hell-bent on doing ads, they can use it for their ads as well. You could do aerial property views, capture aerial footage of real estate. Literally, if you're a realtor, you could just put the drone up, show people where the road is, where the forest is, where the business is, where the house is, how busy things are. You could do all of that. You could show landscaping. We already talked about the tree example, holiday promotions. Maybe they're doing a corn maze nearby for Halloween. Maybe they're doing a Christmas festival, Christmas trees for sale. Like they'll rent out, sometimes they'll take like a Walmart parking lot and turn it into a Christmas tree shop. You can go to them, and those guys make insane money. They make like literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in like a couple days. Not even kidding. These are people that literally, they work like a couple days a year. They come out with a whole bunch of trees that have been growing all year, and then they just sell them all in one shot. They would absolutely pay good money if that means that your footage looks really good and better than the other guy, and you're actively promoting them on Facebook and Instagram. Killer. You could film local events that you sponsor or participate in. You could show where a business is located. My parents, their pool guy or whatever, his building, like his actual business is behind another building. So to get to it, you have to like know where it is to begin with. And they have really poor signage for where everything is. You could like get paid to like show, here's the road, here's the entrance, here's our lot, here's how to get to us. You can make a little money doing that. Time-lapse videos showing construction, seasonal changes, stuff like that. My favorite way to do any of these ideas, and there's tons more that I ended up taking out because I didn't think that they were as good as this. My favorite way is to help the local businesses, because these are businesses that, first of all, they can pay you. I know from just experience working in the film industry, starting out with that is, some people don't have a problem with it. I went through the ringer trying to get jobs. It was so difficult to just get free work to do. And it just took years and years and years of effort. And some people have it, some people don't. Some people know, you might know the right people. I don't know. But if you're trying to make money like today, during a recession, during a time like this, I think you can go to a local business. You can come up with a list of like 10 businesses to hit, assuming that you're somewhat confident with the drone. You're not going to like kill somebody. We're going to go into requirements and stuff like that in a second. But my favorite way to help a business is with things like Google Maps listings. That means you could make a drone video and put it on their Google Map listing. Killer. Yelp, Facebook business pages, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, etc. We talked about ads and lead costs. Why pay for ads when you can make evergreen content? I want to go back to this example because I'll just show you a different one. If you need a plumber, And this might be outdoor work. They might be it might be like an excavator, and you're showing how they like carve a driveway out of slate or something like ridiculous. These guys are paying anywhere from $12 to $68 a click, or $85 a click. Like literally for an emergency plumber, that company might be paying literally $85. That means I go here, I go emergency plumber, and I click this ad. Roto-Rooter is going to be paying between $23 and $85 just for me to click the ad. What if there's an outdoor service that they're offering that you could fly by? Or, screw it, you don't even need a drone. You just show up with your phone, you show up with a GoPro, you show them repairing something, and you help them make content. I'll show you something else too. This is really key. This is what I love to do, is the keyword research. This is the cool stuff. This is a tool I use called vidIQ. It's a YouTube keyword tool. It helps you make like titles. It helps you with thumbnails creation. It helps you with figuring out what video to make. And it shows you the analytics of how your videos are doing. Like, did it do well? Did it do poorly? What can you do to improve? Stuff like that. Safe to say, I have a very small channel that I have not paid a lot of attention to. So it helps, but I could do a lot better. But the keyword research here is so key, because you could help a business figure out exactly what it is that they need to make. So you're coming to them and you're saying, okay, I'm going to make you 50 pieces of content. And you are probably going to say to yourself, what the hell am I going to make? I promised them 50 pieces of content. I have no idea what it is to make for them. Let's pull up AI. I'll show you ChatGPT. And we'll ask ChatGPT. Actually, I have a chat open right here. I'd already done this. I had asked ChatGPT to give me, for a yoga studio, let's think yoga, give me a list of the top 10 poses that people do in yoga. Okay, so we've got like mountain pose, downward facing dog, warrior 1 and 2, tree pose, etc. Let's say you went to the yoga studio and you said, I'm going to help you make how-to videos for all of these things. Well, that's 10 videos right there. If you repurpose the content and you do like captions, stuff like that, you can easily make that 20 to 30 pieces of video. You could put captions on it. You could turn it into TikToks. You could turn it into whatever you want. These are things that people are looking up. How to do the Tree of Life pose gets 2,300 searches a month just on YouTube alone. How to improve your balance in tree pose. How to do balance in tree pose. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's go even more generic. Let's just go straight for yoga. Everybody's looking up nude yoga, apparently, on YouTube. It's not happening. Morning yoga. Whoops. Body art yoga. Let's go for questions. How to do all of these things. So what you're kind of doing is you're showing up, you're saying, okay, I can offer you this drone service. I could do a fly through of your business. I can improve your Google Map listings just with this footage alone. You give it to them, they post it, it's up to them to deal with it. That's the deliverable. Say, I'll give you 50 pieces of content. I'll write titles and descriptions for each of them. I'll give you a set of them for Instagram. I'll give you a different set for TikTok, just so it's different. And I'll help you, not using the drone, I'll help you create X number of videos on how to do X, Y, and Z for your business. Start a YouTube channel. Show people how to clean a yoga mat. Show people how to do Warrior 1, Warrior 2, tree pose, all these things. If you don't think that they would pay you good money to do that, you're crazy. These places, they'll charge $150 a month just to be a member. If that video got 100 views, which it would very likely get at least 100 views, there's a really good chance that they would get at least one let's say it got 1,000 views, 10 signups. 10 signups is over $1,000 in their pocket. All of a sudden, your offer makes a lot of sense. Same goes for the tree example. Again, they're paying, let's say they're making between $6,000 and $10,000 to do a removal. Those things are huge. Those trees are huge, and they charge tremendous amounts of money to do it. If anybody's had that, I'm sure you know. What's $500? What's $1,000 to them if that means that you're going to bring in the business with your footage? It works. I'm telling you it works. It definitely works. Sell it as a package deal, charge good money, do a good job, make sure that they're happy. You have to make sure that the customer is happy at the end of it. You do not want to make enemies. Never make an enemy. It's not worth it. You're going to deliver on time what you promised. If that means raw footage, it's raw footage. If you're going to edit it, do it. Whatever it is. And I highly advise you. We're going to get into the requirements in a minute, so we'll talk about that as well. But whatever it is that you're promising, just make sure you show up and you do a good job. Other ideas for how to use your drone to make money. Inspections and surveys, search and rescue. This is more like if you're a volunteer firefighter or something. Security and surveillance, training and tutorials. You can show people how to fly drones in general. You could do YouTube tutorials. This is my favorite. I love this because it's easy content to make. You're not trying to sell anybody anything, but you can actually make money doing it. Not necessarily through the ads, because the ads for FPV stuff is not super great. That's what I wanted to show you too. This is why YouTube monetization isn't everything. Because if your channel is just about FPV drones, remember I was saying how you get paid per click, or you pay out per click if you're the advertiser? Well, the opposite is true as the person earning the money. So if you play an ad on my channel for an FPV drone, I'm going to earn between 16 cents and 67 cents a click. See how that's different? We were just talking about plumbers getting $85. Plumbers are high value. Drones are not. At least not this keyword. If you get into like drone insurance and stuff like that, it probably changes, but that's not where we're going. You could do drone light shows. That's a big thing. Choreographed light shows. Football stadiums are doing this more and more. You could do custom FPV drones, like custom builds, if that's your thing, if you're good at it. I don't know why, but Shen Drones comes to mind. This guy's kind of killing it. He's been doing it for years. I think he's a New Yorker. He sells like more custom frames and stuff for cinematography. You could sell drone-related products. I would stick to YouTube personally, or via a website. Having a website is really important. Patreon and crowdfunding. I think of Bot Grinder. He does a lot of Patreon stuff, like exclusive content. I guess Joshua Bardwell too. Private streams, live streams. So how do you approach a business with your idea? How do you actually make this work? In today's environment where nobody wants to talk to anybody and people are just kind of not interested in providing good service. I had PC Richards come to fix the dishwasher, and they told me it would be 3 weeks before they'd even come to take a look at it. So what you can do is you can come in with good customer service and just write a handwritten note to people. That's worked. Go knock on a business door, just talk to the owner, just chat people up. You can hit them up with direct mail, flyers, Facebook groups. You can find their Facebook page if they have one. You could cold call them, just message them, email, whatever. You don't want to hard sell anybody anything. You want to highlight the benefits of what it is that you're offering. You want people to understand what it is that you're bringing to the table, because there is real value behind all of this. And you don't have to hard sell it. You really don't. If people understand that they can make a lot more money just by using the service, and you're showing that you're there for them, you're going to do a good job, You're going to try your hardest. You're going to learn from it. It will work. Requirements. Definitely get a Part 107. If you're doing any commercial drone work, get the 107. It's very easy to do. There are free courses online to do it. You don't have to pay to go to school or anything. Up to you. Everybody studies their own way. I did not pay for it. I have a video on the Part 107. You could search my channel for it. And I think I share with you how I passed, notes, and I give you like everything, practice tests, stuff like that. Get drone insurance. Make sure you're insured, especially if you're flying over people or near anybody. You want to have the drone insurance. You do not want to be liable for hurting somebody. Nobody plans on hurting anybody, generally speaking, and you don't want to be in that position. Just trust me on this. You do not want to deal with a legal issue. Have the drone insurance. Make sure you're a good pilot. Make sure you're not going to hurt anybody. Don't have an ego going into it. Just provide a good job, do a good job, and make sure that you check your gear. I advise you to get a contract for the scope of work. You want, especially for larger jobs, you want very clear deliverables, exactly what it is that they're going to get. At the end of it, you're going to show them what safe flight conditions look like, meaning if you're teaching in a yoga studio and on the day there's a bunch of children running around, you're not going to fly it. You're going to tell them the kids got to go or I'll come back or something else, but you're not going to do the job until it's safe. You have to provide safe drone operations whenever you can. You always want to have drone backup gear, especially on smaller jobs. I mean, smaller jobs, you can get away with more or less, rather. But you want to make sure that you're going to be able to perform on the day. So that might mean extra drone gear, extra drone, have 2 or 3 backups, extra goggles, extra batteries, 2 radios, whatever it is, extra camera gear. You don't want to be fumbling on the day, especially if you're shooting a film or something where there are professional people around. You want to make sure that you are competent and secure in the stuff that you have. Also, I highly advise you, if you get into doing this stuff, look into the tax advantages, because you want to find it like a business CPA, and they are going to help you with like buying equipment and stuff like that, because there's a lot of benefits to this. You don't have to pay straight out of pocket for it. It actually comes off of your taxable income, and you could save a lot on your taxes. Taking things further, if you want to stop where we are, you absolutely can. This is, I think, pretty solid information, especially in a recession. Businesses need to promote themselves. And with the simple keyword research that I already showed you, you can really help them. You can help them come up with something that is directed, something that will turn into views, that will get traffic in the door, that will help them and get you paid. I think it's a win-win. You want to make content that is sought after. You could do videos, explainer videos, how to fix X, Y, and Z, how to clear a clog, stuff like that. You can help them with all these things. And you can do it all with that tool I was showing you. You could do it with vidIQ. It's like $12 a month. I think they have a free tier. I think you could sign up for free, and then you can upgrade if you want. I pay for the upgrade because it gives you a lot more features, and in my opinion, for the $12, it's like worth it. Especially if you're gonna like pursue doing this, the keyword research is so important, and it gives you proof to show the business and say like, hey, people are actually looking for this stuff up. How to remove a tree, how to tie a tie, stuff like that. You can prove it to them and show them that people are searching it. You can also do that with the Google Keyword Planner. vidIQ is just specific to YouTube. Businesses, I find personally, businesses don't know how to promote themselves. The website is like the last thing that they care about. They just want people in the door. They don't post to social media often, whatever. Again, you're providing them a way of doing that, and you can be creative. You always want to make sure everybody's happy at the end of the day. Work hard and play hard. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you want the show notes, I'm going to put all of this together, and I'm going to put some bonus stuff as well. So I want you to head down to my website, mattyfleisch.com/mailing-list. I'm going to have a link in the description down below. Click that, drop your name and email into it. You'll be on my mailing list. You'll get the show notes from this, and it shows me that you're interested in this stuff and that I should make more content. So I think the next video is going to be a lot more targeted. This is kind of like a lay of the land, the other side of the business, and I'm just kind of showing you everything that's possible. Thank you for sticking around. I'll catch you on the next video very soon.